welcome back to the layout once again. We have an action-packed layout update for you today, including a look at the benchwork as it stands right now, which is about 95% complete. I have a few tiny pieces to complete, and then we'll be 100% done with that. We'll talk about the plans as far as putting down foam and track go, and then we'll take a look at the updated track plan, which has been tweaked a little bit. And we'll get into the changes regarding that and the new track planning software that I actually downloaded and transferred my track plan into as well. So hang tight, everybody, and we'll get right into the benchwork portion. Alright guys, so we'll start out looking at this side of the layout, and the big change here is we've gone from a 4x8 to basically a 5x8. I put on just Sunday a 1x8 extension, which allowed me to widen up this area of the track plan significantly. It's going to allow me to use a much wider turning radius, allowing me to run longer freights and give me a little bit more room to work with as far as the yard and various other things. So I'm super happy with the way that turned out. I still have a few minor adjustments to make to it. It's not sitting completely flush, so I'll get that taken care of, and then we'll be good to go over here. But I'll show you later on in the track plan segment of the layout update how adding this extra foot on the inside here has changed the track plan. It's not major by any means, the changes, but it does allow me to have a little bit more freedom in the way I'm working. And then the major change is over here, the fact that this 6x6 is now 100% up. It's ready to be bolted on. And then the only two other places where I need to build benchwork is I basically just need to put a triangular piece in here just so that I can use a wider turning radius without going over the benchwork. And then I also need to put one in over here as well for the return, excuse the bump, to the reverse loop that'll be coming through here. And apparently I'm desperately need some more lighting over there. It's pretty dark, but other than that, that's the extent to the benchwork that's been completed. I'm pretty happy with the way everything turned out so far. Pretty excited for the next stages, which if I decide to do so, I still have not decided if I'm gonna, but if I decide to do so, next step will be putting down foam, and then after that we'll be finally laying some track, some Code 83 Flex track. I still haven't decided what brand I'm going to go with, but that'll be the next steps for that. And stay tuned, and we'll get you a look at the updated track plan and kind of a preview of the AnyRail software. All right, everyone. So now that we have a copy of the track plan sitting here in front of us, we can take a quick look at how the track plan itself has changed. As you can see, not really much has, but AnyRail has allowed a few minor changes to the track plan and how it looks, as well as that 1 foot extension we put on the 4x8 has allowed for some changes as well. The biggest major change you'll notice in AnyRail is that it allows us to kind of get an idea up in the top left, kind of get an idea of what the last two pieces of bench work that I need to make are going to look like. Essentially how I'm going to make them is they're just going to be a straight piece. They're not going to be curved along with the contour of the track. I just don't feel that it's worth bothering to do that in my case, just because having them squared off is going to allow me to have more room to work with scenery wise, which is kind of nice anyway. So other than that, you'll notice I did also add another industry in the end of the 6x6, that 2-track industry there. I'm not really sure what that'll end up being once the layout is done. It might just be considered an interchange track on the Southern Tier Line. Norfolk Southern interchanges with 3 different short lines, so I might just use that as like a multi-purpose interchange for basically all 3, just depending on the day I'm running trains. So other than that, not a huge amount has changed. Like I said, on that additional foot that we put on the 4x8 is going to allow a much wider turning radius over there. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head here, but definitely a wider turning radius there. And then that inside track right above it, the yard lead, it's also going to allow that to be much wider as well, which will make it so that I'm able to much easier run road power through there, because it was so tight before that it was going to be about 18 degrees, which, I mean, I run my 6-axle locomotives over 18-degree radius easy track right now, but it's not something I like to do, and the locomotives tend to pop right off pretty easily, so it'll be great to have a wider turning radius there as well. Other than that, not a huge amount of change. The yard itself is going to be 2 continuous tracks and then 3 stub end tracks. Unfortunately, there's just not enough space for this layout to make it 5 double-ended tracks, so 3 of them did have to end up being stub-ended. And then on the other side of that 4x8, you'll see a little bit of a, what I'll call a industrial park. There's room for really 3 industries, maybe, we'll see. But that area of the layout, I think I'm just going to kind of call that painted post, which is a big industry area for Norfolk Southern on the Southern Tier Line. And this is, you know, as much as I'd love to have a prototypical version of the Southern Tier Line on this layout, it's just not going to be possible in the amount of space I have. So I'm kind of just loosely basing it off of various different places on the Southern Tier Line. Not even really, unfortunately, not even in a specific order. But once I do have a larger layout, that's when we'll start to really get into the prototypical looking Southern Tier Line. But anyway, guys, as of now, that's all the progress we have to talk to you about. I'm hoping by the end of next month, I've at least gotten some foam down, and possibly starting laying some track, depending on what the budget looks like at that point. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you stick around and watch more content as it becomes available. Should be continuing with the project updates, obviously. I'd love to get another Grime Time video out to you guys sometime late this summer, early this fall. I'm not sure what exactly I'll use for that video, but definitely more interesting content coming very soon, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.